So in talking to you and also publicly to a degree, you've kind of alluded to like a bigger storyline on the horizon for D&D. And I know that Venger and some kind of fairly famous villains from the animated series are coming into this. Can you tell me a little bit more about that without, spoiling anything?
I'm not sure I can, Todd, but I'll see what I can. I'll just blather on and censor myself as I go, and we'll see what comes out of it. Yeah, so at the most recent D&D Direct announcement, we talked a little bit about what you're mentioning here, and that is looking ahead at some of our future stories for 5th edition, what they might be. And as happens, we often reach into the past and bring something forward that has been kind of lost in time, and then weave a new story around it. And one of the key figures that we're crafting a story around is the character of Venger. For those who don't know, he is a central villain from the D&D cartoon series back in the 80s.
Yeah.
He rides around on a mean black horse and that flies through the air. And he's got some pretty powerful spellcasting chops. He's got some enmity or conflict with Tiamat.
Yeah.
Unresolved issues surrounding the evil queen of dragons to be resolved.
I wonder if it has to do with that missing horn, but yeah.
He's got an interesting style, Venger, with the red flowing robes and the one horn coming off his helmet, I guess, or headdress.
Yeah.
And he's got it out for these, upstart adventurers who keep crossing his path. He is a character that we own. He's a great villain, lots of potential there. And so we are talking about what is the story around Venger that we can tell, and how might characters become embroiled in that story? But you also mentioned there are some other characters from the cartoon series, villainous types. One of them is Kellic, who is a sorcerer.
Love Kellic.
And another is Warduke,
Yeah.
who is a helmed warrior. We actually brought them back for cameos in The Wild Beyond the Witchlight.
Which was fantastic, and I loved it.
And there are more of those characters out there that we can play with. We want to bring them back as well and tie them into potentially this story involving Venger. But beyond that, which ones we choose and actually pull in and what the tale is still pretty closely guarded under wraps and under development at this time.
I've seen you hint at Red Wizards being villains moving forward, and also Venger also wears red.
He does. There's an interesting thing there. Like, we got the Red Wizards of Thay, and then we got this red wizard with the one horn over here.
Yeah.
Is Venger a wizard, or is he more of a sorcerer? To be determined. But that's an interesting parallel. But it did get us thinking, particularly given the success of the recent feature film, that Red Wizards is something that is our fans have long been interested in, that we can obviously do much more with. And so in addition to the Venger story, we do have a Red Wizard story in mind that is even farther along at this point, to the point where we're really sort of at the outlining stage now. And we've already had many conversations about the Red Wizard story, which is going to be told in 2025.
Gotcha.
The senior designers are excited. I'm excited. Jeremy and I have had conversations about this story being really the first Forgotten Realms adventure launching after the release of the 2024 core rulebooks.
Right.
It's exciting because the Red Wizards are exciting, but it's also exciting because, what can we do that's fun with the Forgotten Realms and prepare you for that adventure? We did a bunch of concept art for the Red Wizards. That's very exciting. Nobody's seen it. We're just hanging on to it, and we're going to use that to inspire our Red Wizard story. We also did a ton of concept art for Vecna. Part of the reason for doing that was because of the big Vecna-centric adventure lined up for the 50th anniversary year of D&D, 2024. I don't think we've disclosed the name of the adventure yet, although it just cleared trademark search, so it's locked. But it's sort of Vecna's scary comeback, and Vecna's a scary dude.
Yeah.
In fact, I've said his name far too many times in this interview already. I fear for my future.
Yes.
Because his is the name that shall not be uttered. but here I am uttering it nonetheless. And so to celebrate this big, momentous anniversary year for D&D, we wanted to bring back one of the most momentous, monumental villains of D&D, but also tell a story, an adventure around this character that is big, that really accentuates and drives home what the core setting of Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition is, which is the multiverse in all of its gigantic splendor. We haven't done this in a long time, but this is an adventure that's going to take us to many worlds of D&D. It's going to take us to places that we have dipped our toes in 5th edition with some earlier products, and also explore some new locations. And all of this is going to be tied up in a big, big plot having to do with Vecna and some other elements as yet to be revealed. A lot of history of the game kind of brought forward and woven into this story, along with just new spectacular ideas. It is led by one of our senior designers, Amanda Hammond, and everything she's pouring into this book is just evil goodness.
Amanda is very good at that. This is a moment in time for like both you and I, as like fans of D&D, is like so many things are going on, and it's so good.
Yeah, and I love adventures because adventures are stories waiting to be told.
Yeah.
And once an adventure gets out there in the world and people play it, it becomes their own. And so nobody's adventure experience is quite the same as anybody else's, but there's these common elements that then become topics that we can talk about, conversation pieces, points of connection that we all share. And I think that part of the reason why I'm always enamored with the idea of looking into D&D's past to help guide its future is that it creates this sense of continuum, that contributions that people made early in D&D do not die. They revive, they come back, they resurrect, they take on new forms. New people come in with their own ideas, and these things all merge together to create this wonderfully sort of amorphous and malleable palette that DMs can use to construct their own campaigns. And so every adventure that we add is just another little blip or blop of paint on this palette that DMs can use to paint their own campaigns.